Against Stephen F. Austin, you return an interception, 96 yards for a touchdown. When's the last time you ran that far in a game?
Not since senior year of high school, for sure. That was a long ways.
Did you ever score one that long? I mean, I know you played running back in high school as well. Have you ever scored from that distance?
I have. I was a kickoff returner back in high school, so I did that a few times, but I'm a little rusty on that one. I was a little out of shape for that long of a run.
When you get the ball in a play, walk through that play. When you get the ball, are you thinking score or just get it out of your own end?
Well, I remember I was just running toward the guy had caught it, so I was running towards him, and the ball just popped up right in front of my face. When I caught it, it was either Stefan or maybe Acker was just looking at me and go, "Come on, Cam!" I had the ball and I just started running. I was just falling. Our guy I was just behind a wall of guys the whole time. I was probably dead by that 10-yard line back there and just on fumes the whole way.
By the first 10-yard
yeah.
line. Well, you ran in front of your bench most of the way.
Yeah.
What were they yelling at you on the way by?
Oh, I don't have no idea what they were yelling. All I could hear was my breathing.
When Stephen F. Austin is on that drive, are you thinking about preserving the shutout or just make this play, make the next play like you do in the normal course of a game?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously as a defense, you want to go out there and stop them, but obviously in the back of our mind, we want to get that shutout. I mean, that's a big statement for us. We want to put that, that's a good thing for our defense. So that was definitely in the back of our heads. We didn't want to give them a score. We wanted to keep them at a goose egg.
Other than the fact that it looks good on paper, why is that shutout important? What does it do for you as a defensive unit and the confidence of that defense?
Well, it gives us a lot of confidence, especially rolling into a game against A&M. That's a high-powered offense, and so being able to shut a team out like that, put that much points on the board, that's a good confidence boost, especially coming off of that Baylor loss. We needed that. We really did as a good confidence boost getting into this week.
Okay, you did get the shutout, but you gave up 466 yards. So, maybe some of the numbers are a little bit deceiving or conflicting. Where do you think this defense is in terms of its progress and where you should be at this point?
I think we're doing a good job. We're still growing. I mean, this is the second game. I think we're only going to get better. I mean, you look at last year's, I think as the season progressed, our defense just slowly kept getting better and better. The more comfortable we got with game-type situations, it's all going to start coming together for us. It's all going to start being muscle memory when we have seen it before. We'll be in those game situations. It's not going to be a shock to us. So I think more and more we play, the better we'll get.
Did you get a chance to watch A&M's game against Florida?
Yes, as it was live.
Well, live or on tape. I mean, either way.
I watched it while we were in the hotel about to head to the stadium. I watched about the first quarter of it, and then we watched a little bit of this morning. We'll get in obviously more of it. They look good. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Florida, obviously is a prestigious, football powerhouse, and they held their own. A&M did. So I mean, we got a good challenge ahead of us.
A&M obviously has a new coaching staff that came over from Houston, so
right.
You're familiar with their coaches and what they like to do. When you watch that game against Florida, how much did their offense look like the A&M offense you saw a year ago in College Station, and how much has Coach Sumlin and his staff changed things to make it look sort of like Houston?
You can tell that Coach Sumlin's put in what he's done at Houston. You can see with a lot of the routes that they like to run, a lot of their screens, and then and you can already tell just with that first game that they're doing a good job of utilizing the guys that they have on that A&M offense to run his plays. And of course, they got a good backfield. Their offensive line is really good. They're really fundamentally sound. And so, I mean, everything they do, and it's a lot similar to what we saw at Houston, but, they just got good athletes to run those plays.
Last year when you guys were getting ready to go to College Station, Coach Mason said that A&M might have the best offensive line you would see all year.
Right.
When you look back, was it the best line you saw all season, and how much do they have back from last year?
They were definitely a good offensive line. There's no doubt about that. They moved real well. That was one of the things. They had real good feet. They were quick off the ball. And watching them this morning, this will probably be one of the top offensive lines, if not the best, that we'll face this year again. They're returning a lot of guys that know the system already. With a new head coach, it's obvious on the film. And they play good as a unit, so we're going to have to do a great job of reading their keys and taking on their blocks because they're big up front and they move well.
The guy who ran their offense last year, Ryan Tannehill, is now playing quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So they've got I guess he's a redshirt freshman in there now, Manziel. What were your thoughts when you first got a glimpse of him on tape?
He's legit. He governs that offense. He's the general out there. And he runs well. That's going to be an emphasis for us, is to make sure that we keep him inside the pocket. because he's one of those quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket and make some serious plays with his feet, let alone his arm. So it's one of those things that we're going to try to keep him inside that pocket so we don't let him get outside of our containment.